Most people imagine that they are their personalities, that there's this solid little me somewhere behind the eyes, watching, controlling, planning, and that this me is somehow separate from the rest of the universe. But when you really start to look, you find this me is a bit like an onion. You peel it, and peel it, and peel it, and at the end, there's nothing. Not in a nihilistic sense, but in a marvelous sense. Because what you discover isn't emptiness in the depressing way, but spaciousness, freedom from all the definitions you once thought were essential to who you are. Now let's take a look at this thing we call the personality, from the Latin persona, meaning mask. In the Greek theater, actors would put on masks to represent different characters: the hero, the villain, the fool. And this mask was called the persona. So, the personality, in this sense, is quite literally a role we play. The curious thing is that very early on in life, we begin to mistake the mask for the actor. Not just that, we're taught to. From the moment we're born, we're given a name, a nationality, a gender, a religion, or the absence of one. And then a whole library of do's and don'ts, shoulds and shouldn'ts. And we accept it all, unquestioningly, as if it were the truth about us. But none of these things are who you really are. They're simply patterns that have been laid down like grooves in a record, and the mind has played them over and over, mistaking the song for the singer. You see, the mind, this marvelous, mysterious thing, has been conditioned. Much like a dog is trained to sit or stay, your mind has been trained to react in a certain ways to pleasure, pain, praise, and blame. It forms likes and dislikes, attachments and aversions, all based on what it has learned, not what it is. And here's the trick. The conditioned mind is not a villain. It's not the enemy. It's doing its best to protect you, to keep you safe, to make sense of a world that is frankly quite mad. But if you identify completely with that conditioning, if you think that your thoughts are you, that your roles are you, you live in a kind of prison, a very comfortable one perhaps, with nice wallpaper and your name on the door, but a prison nonetheless. Spirituality, in its essence, is the art of waking up from that prison. It's not about becoming something new, but seeing through what you are not. So then, what are you? Well, the delightful and terrifying truth is you are what's happening, not a separate observer watching life unfold, but the whole damn show. You are the universe peering into itself through this teeny aperture of form and function, pretending for a while to be John or Mary, or Susan with anxiety and a preference for mint tea. The mistake is thinking that this play, this performance, is serious. As the Hindus have known for millennia, it's all Lila, divine play. And in a play, you can enjoy the drama, the sorrow, the ecstasy without being trapped by it. You can weep on stage without forgetting you're the actor too. So when the mind begins its chatter, when it says you should be better, you shouldn't have done that, you need to fix this or that, you can smile because you begin to see that the mind is simply doing what it's been trained to do. It is a marvelous tool, but a poor master. The irony is that the more we try to fix ourselves, the more we get tangled in the idea that we are broken. But you can polish the mirror to see your face more clearly when the mirror is already clear. You simply need to stop breathing on it. And so, rather than trying to reshape your personality, rather than battling the conditioned mind, you might ask, who is aware of this conditioning? Who is watching these thoughts arise and pass like clouds across the sky? That awareness, that simple noticing, is who you really are. It has no name, no age, no agenda. It is what allows the personality to play, the mind to think, and the senses to sense. And it cannot be harmed. It cannot be stained. When you sit in silence, not trying to meditate well, not trying to become enlightened, but simply to be, you may begin to taste this, not as a concept, but as a lived experience. And here's the final joke. Once you stop clinging to the personality, it becomes lighter, freer, more playful. You don't get rid of the ego. You simply cease to take it so damn seriously. Like wearing a costume to a masquerade ball, you dance more freely when you know it's just a costume. So I say dance, play, laugh at the absurdity of it all. Wear a personality like a loose garment. Let the mind chatter, but don't believe everything it says. And above all, remember that beneath it all, beneath the mask, the role, the thoughts, is the silent, spacious, boundless being that you already are. And it's been watching the show the whole time.